Like many of you, I've been playing a shitload of Helldivers 2, and I am having a blast. So much so, it's bringing back a lot of friends that I haven't played with in a long time, many of which have been friends I met on Call of Duty Zombies. And even though I have been playing Helldivers for about 40-50 hours now, it took until one of my friends just got the game the other day to make me realize, wait, why does this work and not the Outbreak open world formula? Open world zombies has been a catastrophic failure on all accounts. It ruined the integrity of Cold War, made the Vanguard the laughingstock of the entire community, and now Modern Warfare Zombies is a total joke to the real zombies community. This isn't just anecdotal. All of my friends, casual and hardcore, agree Helldivers 2 works and New Zombies doesn't. Let's go over the similarities. Why am I comparing Helldivers and Outbreak Zombies? It doesn't seem fair, right? After all, I made a video many years ago saying to stop comparing Destiny and COD Zombies, so why is it okay here? Well, I believe it is just the sheer amount of similarities Modern Warfare Zombies and Helldivers share. So for starters, both are PvE co-op games. They both have a limited match timer. They both have difficulty tier options, loadouts you bring in before the game starts. The in-game objectives are relatively simple, and there are optional side objectives. There are, in fact, even daily contracts. So many similarities that I basically just described both games pretty well. In fact, you could say that technically by looking at this list, Zombies has more features. There are buyable perks, upgradable weapons, vehicles, even multiple cutscenes. So why does Helldivers 2 succeed and Modern Zombies fail? Personally, I feel like it is the core gameplay itself, and actually a misuse of the IP. The gameplay of Helldivers 2 and Modern Warfare Zombies is pretty much the same. You have about 40 to 45 minutes to do as many objectives as possible and extract before the timer runs out. The difference is present even before you load into a match though. First off, we have loadouts. In Helldivers, you pick 4 stratagems. In Zombies, you can pick your loadout with the recipe system. The differences in the game start here, as the stratagems and weapon loadouts can be picked anytime, no matter what. And in Zombies, if you use a recipe item, you cannot use it again for a few hours, sometimes even multiple days. This shoots the idea of player progression in the foot. In Helldivers, if you want the most OP stuff, you can have it anytime you want. In Zombies, if you want the meta loadout, you might have to wait a couple days again to use it. I personally have no idea what the point of this system is. It just makes the game into a mobile game. So right off the bat, the loadout system has been botched in some way. Then there is the in-game difficulty. In Modern Warfare Zombies, there are 3 tiers of difficulty: Tier 1, 2, and Tier 3. Tier 1 is a straight up snooze. Tier 2 is fine, and Tier 3 is Satan's ballsack. The difficulty is based on enemy damage, health, and speed. There are also more difficult bosses in the higher tier zones. Helldivers has a similar mechanic of harder enemies on harder difficulties, but Helldivers does not change the enemy outgoing damage or health or anything. However, Helldivers has 9 tiers, so there is also a greater chance of finding that difficulty that matches your preferences. So many games fail to walk the line between kind of hard and fucking annoying. Call of Duty, for decades now, has been the worst at this, especially in their campaigns. And it is no different in Modern Warfare Zombies. Helldivers, on the other hand, has a pretty good difficulty curve, and it achieves this simply by adding more enemies. An enemy on level 1 and level 9 have the same health. There just might be 50 of that enemy on you at level 9. Adding on to difficulty is waves of tension. In Modern Warfare Zombies, if you're in the tier 1 zone, nothing fucking happens. If you're in the tier 3 zone, nothing leaves you alone. It makes things as simple as pack-a-punching a tedious chore, as there is just constantly shit on you at all times. Tier 2 is kind of close to that okay amount of difficulty, but falls short in enemy variety and density. What both games attempt is simple mechanics with high enemy density, at least in the higher difficulties. And I would say both games in this state do achieve this goal, but in Zombies, the risk of death is much more punishing. Let's say you are trying to capture an area. In Helldivers, if you are 90% of the way done with an objective and you get overwhelmed, you can either A, hold your ground and capture that other 10% of the zone, but you will most likely die in the end. Or you can back off and save that last 10% for later and try and thin out the horde. Let's try these two options in Zombies. If you decide to hold your ground and risk dying, you risk losing all of your stuff if no one can revive you. If you choose to run away, that 90% will start draining progress, and you might come back to 40%. These gripes might seem minor, but actually can be avoided if you have a team, but there lies the problem. Helldivers 2 is solo friendly and Modern Warfare Zombies isn't. If you load up Helldivers and want to do the highest difficulty stuff, you boot up a tier 9 difficulty mission and will pretty quickly get match made with other people also wanting to participate in this difficulty. The same absolutely cannot be said for Modern Warfare Zombies. If you load into a game, it is completely a random draw at your teammates. You can get other people wanting to do tier 3 and Dark Aether stuff, but you could also get 2 people who have never even touched the mode before, and there is the problem. In Helldivers, everyone is generally on the same page. In Zombies, not so much. This matchmaking style worked in the older Zombies because everyone, again, was generally on the same page. If you load into any Zombies map pre-Cold War, everyone will be trying to open doors, turn on power, get perks, pack-a-punch, etc. You might say just solo queue, obviously. Well, you can't, because unlike traditional Zombies, you do not get 3 preset revives in your kit. Same goes for Helldivers 2. You have a set amount of revives. Even if you are solo, you have a set amount of revives. There are set mechanics in Modern Warfare Zombies that can allow you to find another team in the game if you aren't happy with the one you got. But again, this doesn't always work. Not only will some teams just straight up ignore you, sometimes the squad mechanics just bug out. This happened to me in one of my games. I wanted to go into the Dark Aether, so I fully kitted up with the gold armor plates, Dogbone, Aether Blade, perks, tier 3 pack-a-punch crystals, the whole 9 yards. My other teammates were doing tier 1 stuff, so I tried joining another squad, and it glitched out my game. So without a team, I didn't want to lose all of my stuff trying to solo the Dark Aether. In a world where this game wasn't poorly designed, I could try again, but no. Some of the stuff I used is on a 2-day cooldown. 2 days! Jesus Christ almighty. So, how about the story, quote unquote? Helldivers 2 doesn't even have a story, and I enjoy its story more than Modern Warfare Zombies. This is for a few reasons, but mainly it's because Helldivers 2 has an in-game pre-baked meme. I'm not talking about online memes, but in the game, they made a simple campaign slogan that is memorable and transfers easily to online discourse. In Modern Warfare Zombies, you have... yikes. Look, I'm not saying zombies need to be something on par with "for democracy and liberty," but what I am saying is the most memorable Zombies maps have some memorable quotes. Remember in Cold War when Strauss said, I must be having 115 delusions because I don't remember asking. No, of course you don't, because I made that up. But when I do say I am that duck, you know exactly what I'm talking about, who said it, and what the context is. Look, Zombies doesn't have the writing level of Citizen Kane, but in the most memorable maps, I can recite at least one line from each of them. Lastly, I want to look at the in-game timers. In both games, you have about 45 minutes to complete a set amount of objectives. This works in Helldivers because of the momentum of the match. 40 minutes feels like just enough time to get as many things done as possible. And you are rewarded if you take less time. But if that time is up, you still can take a while, but that just means you just can't use your stratagems. In Zombies, the setup can take a long time, so if you are like me and got a wonder weapon with 5 minutes left in the match, I feel disappointed because I wanted to play with that rare item and now I lose it forever. I can't even take it into the next game. I am nearly level 100 in Modern Warfare 3, and pretty much all of that time was in the Zombies mode. I think I've played a total of like 5 multiplayer matches, so most of that time is in Zombies. I haven't once seen the Scorcher, and I can count on one hand the amount of times I have played a game with a wonder weapon. I initially thought the Dark Aether was a good solution to this, but no, there's a timer on top of that too. In Helldivers, you have 40 minutes to play with your loadout. In Zombies, you have an hour to progress, and if you finally get everything, then you can have your fun for 5 minutes. Imagine if you're playing Origins and you finally got that upgraded ice staff, but the game said, lol, you've been playing for 45 minutes, you have 15 minutes to play with that ice staff, and then you gotta leave. Bye bye. This makes me wonder why there aren't wonder weapon quests in the game. Who knows? Who cares? Modern Warfare Zombies is terrible. I'll see you guys in the next one.